What's up, everybody? You're back in here with the Pro Football Pod. You've got Hulk, Coach, Austin. We appreciate y'all for sticking in with us today. We got the Los Angeles Chargers 2025 schedule prediction episode. Go ahead down there in the bottom where that red button that says subscribe. Need y'all to hit that for us. We're giving away jerseys at every 500 subscribers. Help us, help you. Fellas, the Chargers. I think we're all decently high on them. I know my record is going to reflect that I'm not as high on them as I think most people are, but I love what they did this offseason, especially when it pertains to the draft. Start from the top. They're keeping Jim Harbaugh for year two. They went 11-6 last year and made the playoffs, so they're looking to build on that. They're keeping Greg Roman as OC, which you love to see that. Khalil Mack came back on a one-year deal, but they lost Joey Bosa. He goes up north to Buffalo. They added Deshaun Hand and Naquan Jones at defensive tackle. Elijah Molden got re-signed at safety. J.C. Jackson got brought in for them at corner. And they brought in Mekhi Becton to play guard for him after his, revamped season there in Philly, going on that run to a Super Bowl. Re-extended Bradley Bozeman at center, so that way they're solidifying the interior there a little bit for him. Najee Harris comes in for a one-year deal. Love that move. Tyler Conklin comes in for a one-year deal just to give him a little bit of, tight end help in that room. In the draft, love what they did in the draft. Amarian Hampton in round one, love that. He's going to be RB1 for him, most likely right out of the gate. Trey Harris in round two at wide receiver. Love that for him. I think he immediately comes in and he's wide receiver 2 for you. He's going to essentially, in my opinion, erase the Quentin Johnson mistake. Jamari Caldwell, the standout defensive lineman from Oregon in round 3. Kyle Kennard, the edge from South Carolina in round 4. They also brought in Keandre Lambert-Smith, the wide receiver from Auburn, and one of my favorite picks, Aronde Gadsden II at tight end, but also gives you that kind of big slot wide receiver type of body for you, which for a team that worked with Keenan Allen and had him there for so long, not saying in any means that's what he's going to be, but that's kind of what you're looking at there. I also love the pick of R.J. Mickens at safety in round 6 for him. So overall, top to bottom, I think their draft was just great. And I know when we did our draft recap episode, I'm pretty sure we all had the Chargers on our list.
Yes. My only real issue with this team is the defensive line looks a bit weak. But Bud Dupree is 32 years old, which makes me feel so old. Because I remember whenever he was just a young pup in there killing it for the Steelers. And then he got
No, you know what makes me old is seeing all the kids of guys that we grew up watching and they're in college or coming out for the draft. And that's when I feel super old. And I'm just like, man, like I watched your dad play his whole career, go into the Hall of Fame, and now I'm watching you. Marvin Harrison.
From an offensive standpoint, I think that they've gotten so much better. Ladd McConkey was already a star for them last year. If Trey Harris can be half of what Ladd McConkey was able to be, if Amarian Hampton can do half of that, then I think that they're going to be great. I think that in the next couple of years, this is going to be a powerhouse team. Herbert is still only 27 years old, so they still have a nice runway for him as well. So excited to see what they do.
All right, let's dive into it. Week 1, they got Kansas City in Brazil. Now, they're listed as the home team, but that's not really going to help them very much. So that kind of sucks that they lose a home game versus Kansas City.
Yeah.
But it's in a neutral site, so at least you're not in Arrowhead. Week 2, they're on the road versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Week 3, they're at home versus the Denver Broncos. Week 4, they're back on the road versus the New York Giants. I've got them going 2-2 in that stretch, taking a win week 2 versus the Raiders and week 4 versus the Giants.
I think that the travel across, that ocean is going to be a bit, or Brazil. Yeah, I think the travel is going to be a bit much. I think that Kansas City is a team that's built to beat teams like this. If they were playing in LA, I'd give them a little bit of a closer chance, but I think that they lose week one. And then I wanted to have them lose to Denver, but honestly, like, I think that they are a team that's built to be able to play against Denver. Denver really stands up on their defense, and I think that even though they have the better defense, I think that the Chargers have the better offense by enough to be able to pull off a win there.
Yeah, they're just a bit more firepower, a little bit better of a quarterback, not by much.
And the
I'm gonna
running
get
back with Hampton.
and
Like,
the running back for sure. Um, I'm gonna give them 3-1, losing to the Chiefs as well, week one.
All right, so we got 3-1 for you guys, 2-2 for me. My eye keeps itching. This is driving me nuts. All right. Next set of games, week 5, they're at home versus the Washington Commanders. Week 6, they're on the road versus the Miami Dolphins. Week 7, they're at home versus the Indianapolis Colts. Week 8, they're at home versus the Minnesota Vikings. I've got them going 2-2 in that stretch again, taking the victory versus the Colts. And who else did I have on that? I had them beating Washington. I have them
Okay.
beating the Commanders because I think Harbaugh is going to be able to run on them. The interior of the Commanders still needs some work on the defensive end. I think between Najee Harris and Amari Hampton, they're essentially going to be able to do what they want to do in that run game. I think Miami, it's just going to come down to if Miami's offense is clicking on all cylinders. I don't think Chargers have anything on defense that's going to be able to stop them. I also see that game being like a 40-37 shootout.
yeah.
Like I see that game being very high scoring. So I think they can easily beat the Colts. I think Minnesota for them is going to be a task because I think outside of the question marks with how JJ McCarthy will do in year one, I think overall Minnesota is just the better team. So that's where I give Minnesota the victory there. So I got them going 2-2 in that stretch.
I went back and forth with the Minnesota game more than anything. I do have them losing to the Dolphins as well, beating Washington, beating Indianapolis. I did give them the win over Minnesota. And again, I think it's going to be a super, super close game. I don't think that they have any real answer for Justin Jefferson, but their defense as a whole should be able to hold up. I think compared to like Minnesota, I don't know. Minnesota's really good. It was a difficult decision for me. I think that they do beat Minnesota though, especially because they're home. If it was at Minnesota, I think that that's a different situation.
Okay. Yeah, I like the thought on that. And I was back and forth on that one as well. Austin, what do you got him in that stretch?
3-1, losing to Minnesota.
All right, so
The
you
boy
got him at
Jay-Z's gonna get
6-2
him.
right now. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Hey guys,
solid
Chargers
start.
fans, if you're still here, slam that subscribe button. Tell your friends to come over to the channel and do the same damn thing.
Both up,
Going
baby.
on. Week 9, they're on the road versus the Tennessee Titans. Week 10, they're at home versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 11, they're on the road versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Week 12, they finally get a bye. Week 13, they're at home versus the Raiders. I've got them going 4-0 in that stretch.
Agreed. They outclassed every one of these
Precisely.
teams. It's Pittsburgh might have had
I don't
a
think
chance.
Tennessee has enough. I don't think Pittsburgh. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. I hate
I don't
to
think
say
that
it,
even
but
does anything for
it
them.
doesn't move the needle for me. And overall,
Yeah.
I don't think Pittsburgh has the offense to compete with them. I think the Chargers have the better roster than Jacksonville, and we went through it with the Raiders episode. I don't think the Raiders win a game in this division this year.
Yep.
What are you thinking, Austin?
4-0, like y'all boys said.
4-0. Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Great start
All
to the
right.
season for them.
Yes.
Like a
It
nice, easy
doesn't
games for
end
them
as
to
nice.
mesh together.
Yeah, these last 5 games are really where they're going to make their money. So week 14, they're at home versus Philly. Week 15, they go to Kansas City. Week 16, they go to Dallas. Week 17, they're at home versus Houston. Week 18, they're on the road versus Denver. I've got them going 1-4 in that stretch, with the lone win being at Dallas.
You mother hecker.
I think Philly's obviously just the better team. Kansas City, they just have their number at this point. Houston, I think that game I went back and forth on. but ultimately gave the victory to Houston. And same thing with Denver in Mile High. Week 18, especially if they're both fighting for playoff positioning, I give the lean to Denver on that one. Dallas, to me, comes down to the coaches. I've got Jim Harbaugh versus a first year and Brian Schottenheimer. And I said the same thing in the Cowboys episode. So I'm just sticking with that.
It
I
is
like
also
that.
week like 16 or 17. Yeah,
Mhm.
16 at that point. So I think that Schottenheimer's inexperience shouldn't be holding Dallas back. I think the only real reason they'd lose that game is because they dealt with an injury to Dak again, which I don't like to predict in these types of episodes. So I have them beating Houston um,
Mhm.
because of roster. I think that it's a home game versus Houston. It's a Saturday game, so it's not like it's a huge prime time, but it is a bit of an in the lights type of a game. You have a younger CJ Stroud, younger Nico Collins. Like, I think that this team is very much built to like run it up on people, but also then like slow the game down, run the ball out. Just like all these pieces on their offensive line, I think that they can beat a team like Houston, whose defense really is in the pass protection. They're more in the secondary than they are like in a defensive line standpoint for Houston.
What do you got them in that last stretch, Austin?
1-4 beating Houston.
1-4. Okay, I got you. So I've got them 9-8 on the year, which will put them right on the cusp of playoffs. Yes, it's a drop off from last season, but I do think last year they stole a few games that maybe they probably shouldn't have. That's got to be like
I,
a double negative, right? Maybe, probably shouldn't. Like, okay.
I,
But
d-
yeah, so I've got them at 9-8. Like I said, if they do finish like 11-6 again, it's not going to shock me by any means. But just as we sit here today, 9-8 is what I feel good at.
that kind of irks me because of the way you speak about the Chargers and the fact that this is another year for Jim Harbaugh and their roster got completely better with the way they drafted. I just don't see how they can digress
True,
from
but
It's
how they
that's
their
did
where
last
to
year.
me
defense.
it can go to 11-6 if
Yeah.
Omari and Hampton and Trey Harris come in and make immediate impacts, which I
Mhm.
think Omarion will. Trey Harris might have a slight question mark to him
I
just
think
to
he's
see
going
how
to
he's
have
going
an
to integrate into that offense. And so I could
because of
see it
the
going
way
that
Ladd
way.
works.
But like Coach just said, the defense is what has
He's
me
going to be
more
open
worried
consistently.
because I don't think their defense has as much firepower.
Luckily, over the first like 8 games, they have at least 3 matchups that they're just like the better roster. They do have a couple of close ones, but through like week 11, I want to say, they have definitely some easy wins. By the time they hit this end stretch, I think that they drop some games, but Amari and Hampton should be turned on by then. They could easily win one of the games versus Philly, Kansas City, Dallas, or Denver. They could end up going 2-3 in this final stretch and finishing 12-5. I have them at 11-6, being realistic. Austin and me have the exact same prediction. We predicted every single game the same, so it did
Mm-hmm.
happen twice. And now it's happened with Austin. So that'll be the last time that happens for the rest of the season.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be shocked either way. I'm always weary about rookies at the end of this first season for them, just because it's the longest season they've ever played in their entire life. Like every other season, they've gone maybe 14 games, depending on if they go to state and high school or make the college football playoffs. So that's where like my hesitancy comes in. Like I said,
Yeah.
if they do go 11-6, I will not be shocked. Chargers fans, if you stayed with us the whole time, we greatly appreciate you. We love you for it. Subscribe down below. TulsyRoseTea.com is the sponsor. Stay tuned for the rest of our episodes that are dropping this week and go check out all the other ones that we dropped as well. We love you guys. Peace out.
Hold up, baby.
Go Chargers.